Welcome back to Park to Prem. Today is a triple header of home games. Slough Town, Weldston, Ebbsfleet. 3 teams in the playoff picture, maybe even the title fight too. Win these, we look good. Lose these, maybe I start to worry. Yes, gang, welcome back to Park to Prem. Happy Thursday. We are here at Lewis FC. We are still top of the league. We are getting caught up a little bit, though. Now, of course, last episode we took on Altrincham in the FA Cup, lost in heartbreaking fashion, but a nice comeback win against Dorking was nice. Since then, there has had to be a few more comebacks. And well, the reality is we have been in some pretty good form. Against West End Super at Mare, we won 2-0. Diakite got the second goal in what was a very dominant performance, but we've had a few slip-ups, a little bit like this one against Horsham, and these draws are actually costing us. Diakite scored an opening goal for us against Horsham before they got a penalty just before half-time, which they converted. They scored not long later into the second half, and in the end, it was Stepien Iwumene, not for the first time this year, coming up the hero. Yes, we've had Gibbard out with an injury lately, and Alex has been the man that we've just called upon in our time of need, and he has really stepped up to the mark. Following on from that, a 3-0 win against Farnborough on the road was a nice way to bounce back, but it did not stay bounced back. Against Dover, a 2-2 draw, and a game that we led 2-0 before just completely bottling it and throwing it away. The only silver lining, really, Princewell showing some decent goal-scoring form. Admittedly, goal-scoring-wise, I feel like he has slowed down a tad lately. Having drawn 2 of our last 3 games, I was a little bit worried as we took on Maidstone. They're in the playoffs, and they scored from the penalty spot in the 26th minute. We were down a goal at half-time, kind of reminiscent of the game against Dorking last episode. We had to dust ourselves down, have a chat with the players, and well, we got some good little goals. Reindolf opened up the goal scoring for us, a bit of an overload in the middle, saw him break through from a banal pass, and from there, it was King with 2 goals. I mentioned last episode he'd been slowing down a little bit, so it's pleasing to see him get both goals in this game. I think his first of the 2 was the pick of the bunch on the volley, a really nice assist, and yeah, he did convert a header not long later to get us what felt like a really important win. And from there, it did feel like we had a couple more winnable games. Against Brentwood, we won 3-1. Against Hornchurch, we won 1-0 in the league, and then we took them on in the FA Trophy and managed to beat them 1-0 again. In both these games, Princewell scored. I can't imagine Hornchurch are his biggest fan right now. However, like I've already mentioned, despite the fact we've not lost since last episode, those draws have cost us. We lost to Slough on the opening day of the season. They are our biggest rivals. We play them today, and I would really like to beat them. We're going to be taking them on in the second game of today's episode, but first, a home game against Weldston. If you're wondering, Jack, what about Gosport Borough? Why are you not doing that game? Why are you excluding them? They're bottom of the league, they're rubbish, they don't deserve our time. When they now inevitably win against us, you can clip that bit and mock me for it. In terms of team news for today's game, the only little bit of news is Gibbard coming back from injury. I kind of mentioned the fact he's been out for a little while, and he has been a really, really big miss for us because I do feel like he is a defensively solid player. 5 assists as well in 14 is not too bad. While Stepien Iwumene has done well, I feel like Iwumene is probably better served playing at centre mid for today's game, which does mean we are going to drop Reindorf to the bench, which I don't know how to feel about Reindorf. He's now picked up centre mid as a natural position. I am tempted to maybe try him as a little bit of a striker, but if there is an issue I've been having this year, it is just a struggle with rotating the team sufficiently. Yeah, I have been kind of wedded to the best 11 quite a lot this year. There's not been as much rotation as in previous years, and as a result of that, you can see there are just a few players not that happy, asking to leave. For now, I'm just going to hold them hostage. Oh, and if you're wondering, because at the end of last episode I put in a request, didn't I, for an increased transfer and wage budget. Despite the fact we've got £750,000 in the bank, both my requests were declined by the board, which is a bit annoying. Obviously, January is coming up, and whilst there's not necessarily the traditional transfer window at these lower levels, it's usually a good time to bring in some players. At the moment, that doesn't feel like it's going to be likely. Okay, into this game we march. It's a rainy day down in the south. Parker over a free kick in the wide area here. He is going to be looking to put this into a dangerous area. Set pieces have been a little bit of a kryptonite for us this year. That one there is going to sail over. If that had flown in on the volley, that would have been the goal of the year, wouldn't it? I mean, when you look at their shape, literally it is our shape both in and out of possession, just with a defensive midfielder. Which, I mean, to be fair, we've used this shape on occasion this season. Anyway, we've got a set piece. This highlight started out of absolutely nowhere. Watson, the centre-back, the number 24, lays it to King. The 2 products of our academy linked up. Sadly, the woodwork has denied us. It's not completely dealt with yet. It is completely dealt with now. Diakite throwing on the far side, gives it short to Gibbard, back to the left back. Has slowed down his goal scoring, but could turn provider hero with a tempting cross. It's half cleared away, but only as far as Gibbard. Bernal in a wide area. Could shoot, could cross. Probably should have done the latter. He went for goal and it's gone over. Weldston in this game have had slightly more of the ball, but in terms of chances, we've had more. Whether or not we've had the better chances is up for debate. There's been one shot on target for either team. This isn't enough. It's unacceptable. Do better. Right, we need to step it up in this game. Anna skips past his man. This is dangerous. This is scary. It could be a goal. It's cleared away. And I kind of want to try and get a bit more possession in this game now. Now, in terms of team instructions, I have been changing things a little bit. I have switched off pass into space, which is something we have been using a lot. And out of possession, I am still not preventing goalkeeper short distribution, but I have recently turned on counter-pressing. I do feel like in this game here, though, maybe it is just in our interest to try and force the issue a little bit more. Try and press from the front. Okay, I feel like I've seen enough in this game. Gibbard is coming back from injury, so I almost don't want to rush him back too quickly. But we are going to change things up, I think, in the final third here. I'm going to bring in Reindorf and play him as a channel forward. In truth, Reindorf is a pretty good striker, but obviously we've just made this decision to convert him to a midfielder. Then out of possession, we'll have him play through the middle, and I think we'll have Stepien Iwemene just play alongside Pierre. I've just realised with the out-of-possession formation, you know what, I'm going to change this now. We should play with three strikers, shouldn't we? In a weird way, I was kind of thinking, let's drop a man deeper, but the whole point of me playing the three strikers is to try and stop them playing it out from the back. And as a result of that, I am going to just switch to a high press as well. I want to try and force a turnover with Weldston looking to play it out from the back, and hope that maybe that's enough to get us the breakthrough in this game. It's not been a game with much quality so far. Could be a moment of individual brilliance that wins this kind of game, as Princewell, who squandered a great opportunity for us, wins back the ball. What is that back pass? Princewell, what are you doing? It's one of the worst goals we've conceded all year. Princewell, under pressure, lays it back. I mean, to be fair, LOM, does he get a call from Ranson there? The keeper raises his hand. What's that for? My bad, guys, we're about to concede. I mean, what an awful way to concede a goal. Right, I'm going to go to attacking mentality. We've got to come back in this game. We've only had one shot on target still. And we're going to go more direct as well. We've got Obi as a big, meaty player in the middle. His aerial ability is there for all to see. I need him to win a big flick on or two for our other strikers. We've got a free kick. It's going to be Stepien Iwemene, who's been a man who's been a bit of a creature of the comeback. He loves to score in these kind of games. We need a comeback here. In truth, it's become a bit too habitual, these comebacks. We find ourselves in these situations where we need to chase the game too often. And whilst last episode we were able to do it against Dorking, whilst recently we were able to do it against Maidstone, it is not a viable way to consistently approach football matches. And as a result of that, we lose a game 1-0 here, where I'm going to be honest, there was no real quality on display. We lose after 13 games undefeated, and suddenly that Gosport Borough game that we have, it doesn't seem that simple, does it? And to make things worse, against our local rivals in Eastbourne Borough, Slough Town managed to win 2-1 with an 88th minute goal to close the gap on us to 1 point. There's no denying when you look at the XG table, we've maybe got a little bit lucky with some of the games we've won, at least if you believe the expected points. I will caveat by saying that a few of the teams in and around us, like Slough, are also probably overperforming even more than us. I'm going to hope that the upcoming game against Gosport Borough is just going to be a formality. We're coming back to take on Slough. We lost against them 1-0 earlier this year. I really need a win in this one. If we lose, they'll go above us. Well, it was a Boxing Day Christmas cracker of a game against Gosport Borough. Shout out to the away fans that made the trip. A 6-1 win, the reward for them. But that is not all that happened on Christmas. A Christmas miracle occurred. Dorking, yes, Dorking, who we played last episode, managed to beat Slough. And the gap to Slough is now back at 4 points. I mean, the bizarre thing is Slough have just been such a good team for much of this year, but they've had a little bit of a wobble in the last month. I say that, we've had a wobble too. I feel like whoever wins this next game where we're playing them is going to be relaxing. Whoever loses might be starting to panic a little. It's first versus second. As a reminder, there is one automatic promotion spot. A win in this game, we can move 7 points clear, which feels massive. What I will say is, fitness level-wise, we are feeling the effects of all the matches recently a little bit. Diakite was a bit of a disappointment last match in this episode, but he did play much better against Gosport Borough, and he has just signed a brand new deal through to 2030. So a 2.5-year deal, if we get promoted, becomes a 4.5-year deal. And I'll admit, The wages aren't cheap at £900, but for a player who is of a National League quality, I feel like it's just worth the money. And just to add to the good vibes, Princewell has signed another very similar deal. £750 for him. Again, it's a 2.5-year deal with a 2-year extension if we get promoted. Both these deals do include 10% promotional wage rises, but I feel like that's a small price to pay to get these guys locked down to the club. In terms of team news, not rotating things, I'm going with what I think is our best 11 here. Looking for Ransom to have a better game. Looking for Princewell not to assist the opposition. Really didn't make enough of the fact that the last game was literally decided by one individual mistake. We were not bad against Weldston, but obviously if you don't score, you can't win. We need goals today. We're at home for this one. I mean, to be fair, we were at home for the last game, weren't we? We need to win these difficult games. This feels like a kind of proper 6-pointer. I guess with Slough slipping up in the most recent game, even just avoiding defeat, even a draw, probably not the worst result in the world. But naturally, when you're at home, you want to win your games, even if it's peeing it down with rain again. Why is every single match in Football Manager 26 just raining? I'm going to bring it up every single time. It has to be a bug. I feel like in the most recent patch notes, they said that they changed the frequency of rain. Did they make it rain more? Anyway, Tideman in the rain. Surely he gets some kind of buff for that. On this occasion, his long shot was saved rather convincingly. And I feel like that can't have possibly have been the highlights. Although apparently that was. Possession's been fairly 50-50 in this game. We are yet to have a shot on target. Not for the first time today. Maybe struggling to create enough. And we could be in some trouble here because Diakite has been absolutely mugged off. Hay fizzes it in. Akipo clears it away. Pierre does not jump for the header. And we could be under a little bit more pressure here. Having to do some defending deep. Drake's Thomas gives it wide to Hill. The left attacking mid. Shot deflected. Shot is saved there by Ranson. And is it away from danger? It's not yet. The ball's floated to the back post. LOM heads it away. I'm not enjoying this today. I'm going to change the pass reception to pass it into feet early doors here. I want us to just try and hold on to the ball that little bit better. In all honesty, today's been awful, hasn't it? Today's been some of the hardest games of the season that we've got to do. At the same time, though, if we want to be promoted and we want it to be comfortable and cosy, we need to be performing better than we have done in the opening stages of this game and the match against Weldston. Meerholtz gives it forward. Drake Thomas, Tideman, played forward. Willard, lovely build-up play. It's a lovely goal, but it is offside. It's a little bit of a let-off, isn't it? You know what? I'm going to move Gibbard deeper in possession. I'm going to steal the homework that we saw Weldston use and see if that just gives us a bit more solidity in the middle. And for our two centre-mids that are set to pressing centre-mids, I'm actually going to change them both just to regular centre-mids now. Diakite over a corner. This man has provided some real balls of quality so far this year. Can he pick out his man on this occasion? He can't. It's cleared away as far as King. Back to Diakite. Back to King, who shoots. That was not far wide. I feel like we have had a lot of these cagey games against the big teams in our division, the games that kind of really matter. Against teams like Gosportborough, I feel like our quality just shines through. We can demolish the teams and win quite handsomely. I do feel like the shape that we do play against better quality teams maybe just isn't quite as productive. I'm going to tell the players I'm far from happy. Do I want to change anything too radical at this moment in time? I don't think I do yet. Not that I necessarily feel like we need to do this, but given the fact that we are, not flawless so far this year, if we did really start to struggle, I think we are in a fortuitous position where with the players that we've got, there's a few different shapes that we could try. We could try a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. Could probably opt for a wider formation if we wanted to. Maybe would lack some depth with that. I do feel like we are set up best to play a 5 at the back, but yeah, if we do find that this trend where we're having one shot on target at home continues to be a thing, maybe we do have to reevaluate stuff. Right, I'm going to bring in Reindorf, I think, for King in this game. And elsewhere, I kind of want to make changes in the wider area. Bernal has not been bad. Neither's Diakite kind of been awful, but they've not been the standout performers you've come to expect. I'm going to bring in Rowe at right back. I'm going to keep Diakite in the team, I think, for now. Akipo's not had the best of games at centre-back. Let's bring in King. Let's make a trio of changes, get some fresh legs injected. And well, to be honest, sooner rather than later, I might be tempted to go a little bit more attacking, or at least try something to try and just up our productivity. As much as a draw isn't a bad result here, I don't feel like we can rely on a clean sheet to get a result here. Slough on the attack. Brought back to Drake's Thomas. Forward to Tideman. And I couldn't even get my words out because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Slough of Curse open. Are we just bad now? Are we just bad now? Is this us? Tideman in behind, tucks it away. We went into today's episode thinking a couple of wins and we're in a great spot. Yeah, I mean, we've got a goal down. We've now got a free kick. I don't think our subs had actually gone through when that goal happened because I saw the players running off the pitch in their tracksuits at the end of that highlight. The subs are made now, almost a bit too little too late. I've got discouraged long shots on, but we are having a lot of shots that are just away off target. I'm going to encourage the players to work the ball into the box, although I am going to tell them to be a bit more direct with their play. We've had 11 shots, 1 on target. I mean, it's nothing short of awful, is it? This is one of those moments where I really wish there was a shot map I could look at. That would be very useful. Diakite at left wing back is going to whip in this ball. It's headed onto the crossbar by LOM. I mean, that's the closest we've come to scoring, but again, it's not a shot on target. 20 minutes left here. I'm going to go more attacking. I feel like we've kind of just got to in this game now. We have not been good enough here. Going to bring in Jones for Princewell, who again has been disappointing. I think we've got a couple of players in our ranks. Diakite maybe falls into this bracket where against the not-so-good teams, they have a jolly good time and just stat pad and slaughter the teams. In the big games like this one, players have gone AWOL this year. Going to up our defensive line. I'm going to change our defensive line behaviour to step up more. We've got to try and just force a turnover in possession and try and make something happen in what remains here. Are we really about to lose to Slough? Back-to-back 1-0 games. Is that really what's about to happen here? 4 minutes of added time. I have no faith in us to score here. We've not scored again. Have we just forgotten how to score? I say that. We literally beat the team who are bottom 6-1. But against these not-so-bad teams, I can't buy a goal right now. It's a little bit concerning. And I don't want to alarm anyone. Annoyingly, Worthing, who are currently in third, they keep winning. Like, they're not that far behind us. With our current form, I don't feel like, oh my gosh, we're going to drop out the playoffs. Top spot doesn't feel that secure, does it? Ultimately, we are still top of the league, so I don't want to panic too much yet. But when I look at the season preview and how high we are, I do feel like we've got the quality to be doing a lot better than we have done as of late. It's just been very frustrating so far this season. Anyway, our next game is on a Sunday. We've got 4 days to get the players rested up and ready. It's a third game at home. We can't lose 3 games at home in one video. It'd be the most disastrous episode of any FM26 content I've done so far. We really need to beat Ebbsfleet. You know what? I'm done with being reactive in games. I'm going to be proactive. We're going to go and try what we used last year. Just as a little reminder, this year, obviously, we switched to the 5-3-2. Last year, though, we did play more of a 5-4-1. And it worked really, really well for us. And the reason I kind of moved away from this system was I didn't really love the wide attacking midfielder options that we had. But, I mean, Princewell can technically go out and play on the right-hand side. I don't love him cutting in on that side, but I don't have anyone else who can play on the right. King can play naturally out on the left-hand side as well. And then I can bring in Jones, who's been a bit of a fringe player, really, and try and give him a run through the middle. It does mean, obviously, at centre-mid, where we are a bit more stacked, both Reindorf and Stepien Iwumene will be on the bench. But we've not won in our last 2 home games. I feel like I've got to try and change something, and I at least know that some of the players that featured in last year's squad can slot into this system, and maybe just changing things in the final third is the way we go about finding a goal here. I mean, let's be honest, today has just not been good in terms of performances, and I don't even really know if I like this tactical shift, but I think it'd be a bit silly and naive not to try and change something up against these teams, which I think are probably starting to set up a bit more defensively. We're just not really breaking them down. I often get people kind of ask me, Jack, my tactic has stopped working around Christmas, around mid-season. You know, what's going on? Has the AI figured me out? And to be honest, the Football Manager AI is not that smart. But I do feel like, especially if you're a newly promoted team and you have a really good first half of the season, the way you're perceived by the other teams in the division does shift quite a lot. And I do suspect that a lot of the teams that we're coming up against are just playing a lot less attacking against us now. They are willing to kind of sit back a little bit more, and therefore, you know, maybe the approach we had been using just isn't really the play. Maybe we do need to try and double up in the wider areas rather than just leaning on the advanced wing-backs. Anyway, we're on the attack here early. This is nice. This is pretty. Jones, we've brought into the team, hits the woodwork. Princewell scores the rebound. We've scored a goal in the video. Obviously, this year we have shifted to 2 strikers. Prior to that, we had been playing kind of the lone striker with 2 wide attacking mids. Admittedly, a wide forward and an inside forward. We'll get into those attacking areas like supporting strikers, just like Princewell has there. I mean, 1 goal is nice, but based on today's episode, I have no faith in us to keep a clean sheet. We need more. The ball's whipped in by Princewell. It's cleared away once, but the number 18 is going to look to keep it alive. Our top goal scorer dances inside. That was not far wide. Admittedly, Ebbsfleet, actually, in possession, they're playing a 4-2-4. They have a bit of a wild transition in terms of how they change their shape. But we're against our 3 at the back, actually, with 1 striker. I feel like this suits us quite nicely. Saying all of that, they've got a set piece in a dangerous area. We need to deal with this. It's Wynn who's going to take it. Back post it goes. Headed away once, headed away twice. Jones looking to relieve the pressure a little bit. There could be time for a counter-attack here, although we lose the ball as players are on-rushing forward. And now Lowerson brings it into a dangerous area. That was very scary for a moment. Also, can I extend my compliments to our groundsman? I don't feel like we get many sunny games at home. Is this the pattern that we normally have on our pitch? I can't work out if it's too jazzy or not. Let me know your thoughts on the pitch pattern down below. King, wide forward, skips past his man, looking to bring it inside. Gives it back to Diakite. Gibbard shoots, it's blocked. But now, can he keep it in? He can. That is a great touch. Cuts inside the right back, gives it back to Gibbard. It deflects. It falls to Pierre. I don't care. It's 2-0. It was an awful goal. It was scrappy. They all count. But Now's touch here looked a bit odd, didn't it? He's kept it in play divinely. Pulled it back to Gibbard, who probably shouldn't have been shooting through all the traffic, but it deflected straight into the path of our other centre mid who's converted it. I don't know about anyone else, it always feels like almost a bit boring when you have a tactic that works one year, then you try and change things up, and then you end up reverting back to what you had before. But maybe it's just the sensible thing to do here, because this has been a much better performance through this first half, especially from a defensive point of view. Yes, they've had a fair few shots, but actually, in terms of XG, they've not created anything. Okay, right, you know what? Start the second half. Let's not let this level of performance lower. This is the kind of situation where once shouts are back in the game, I'll be doing a shout at this point in the game. I want to get the players fired up. I want to get a third goal, put this beyond doubt, and just allow ourselves to enjoy a bit of football. Princewell, lovely run from the wide area, crosses it into Pierre, but Now's header there is a very questionable one. And it's hacked away from danger. That was almost another golden opportunity. We have so many players queued up in the box in situations like that. I'm going to make a couple of changes here. I'm going to bring in Clayton and actually play him out in the wide area over King, because he can play that wider spot. And in the final third, Jones hasn't been bad today, but we're going to give Obi the nod. And in possession, I'm going to try him as a target forward again. People thought the OB experiment was over. Maybe it's not. Maybe our big meaty man is a man who we can rely on in this kind of system. We're 2 goals to the good. Defensively looking pretty sound so far. Not going to change anything in the deeper areas. As with 20 minutes left, it's not exactly been an all action-packed second half so far. I guess there's still time for it, and maybe I should be careful what I wish for. Bernal to Gibbard. Back to LOM. But now at right wing back, now has a friend of sorts in the inside forward to look for support. Although on this occasion, he's going all on his own, the right back. He's all on his own. He gives it to Princewell. They make it 3-0. I do kind of feel like in this situation here, the inside forward should probably be occupying the channel between the kind of full-back and the centre-back. At the same time, the inside forward is the person who scored. So maybe I should be careful what I wish for. I mean, I'll be honest, based on today's matches, I'm kind of tempted to run this for the rest of the season. There might be a bit of a square peg in a round hole in terms of forcing players into certain spots. I mean, Princewell can't really play right mid. He's currently on a 9.1 rating. And as I think we've learnt with some of the players we've been training in new positions and playing in new positions, I'm not even that convinced that positional familiarity matters if a player is suited to the position you're playing them in. Anyway, the ball's whipped in here. Akipo heads it away. I would love to keep a clean sheet, really, as a cherry on the top of today's match. That shot was not far wide, though. Had we lost this game, I don't know if I would have lived it down, but instead I can point to the match stats and say, look, we can actually be quite a good football team. I mean, what would make today better is if Slough have slipped up. Have Slough slipped up? Slough! They didn't slip up. Although Worthing in third did, which is going to start to open this up maybe as a little bit more of a 2-horse race. Slough won 4-1. I mean, the wild thing is, right, we're at the start of January. There is still 20 games left of this season. Like, there is still a lot of football left to be played. And based on this rough patch of form that we've had as of late, I think there is evidence to suggest we're not entirely bulletproof. I think sometimes it's easy to get carried away when you have a great start to the year and you start towards the top to just feel like it's your divine right to stay there. Yeah, we have to continue at the level of performance we showed in this most recent game. Also, annoyingly, with those new contracts that we did sign, and I maintain getting Diakite and Princewell on new contracts was essential, we are now over the wage budget. So if there was even the slightest hope of it signing anyone in January, that's probably gone out the window unless I can convince the board to give us some more cash. Well, I'll tell you what, today was a weird yet frustrating episode. I'm very relieved we ended things with a win. King did pick up an injury. It's not a major one, is it? No, okay, he's fine. For a moment, I thought I'd missed something very important there, because we did sub him off with a knock, but no, he's good to go. I am wondering, is this formation the one that I should be going with? Let me know what you think down below. If you have been running anything akin to the 5-3-2, any obvious tweaks that we could be making? I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, the midfield is actually just better set up with the wide attacking mids. Is it boring if I just go back? Will we still be top of the league to end the week? Come back tomorrow to find out. Until then, take things easy. Appreciate you watching as always. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.